That's very interesting inputs, but I want to check with you, Shweta, specifically. You spoke about representation in various sectors and organizations, but do you think it is important for more women to take up leadership positions and seats of influence? And what is the difference, in your view, that women leaders could bring to the table, in organizations and ecosystems which have perhaps historically been seen very low representation of women in leadership positions?
So it is a fact and a data point that the more diverse a team, a working team, and that could be the leadership or an exec or a board, uh, women bring in huge amount of empathy. And empathy, I don't mean in a manner that they are soft. I don't exactly. I think it is bringing empathy to objectivity with objectivity. I think that is the biggest strength of having women across. Because again, I bring back to the fact that there are certain fundamental wiring that is there, and we are I think women are able to uh, look at situations, look at business problems in a layered manner. They're able to delayer and get to the core and then solve in a manner which is more wholesome, if I may say so, for lack of any other word. And there's a proven data point. I mean, we've seen many boards, many organizations which have had a more inclusive approach, and those problem solving gets easier because of a certain quotient of empathy that comes in. The second piece is that if you are, and I'm going to particularly talk about consumer business, B2C part of life. 50% of our consumers are women, right? So if you will not go consumer back, then you are fundamentally doing disservice to whatever sector you might be in, whichever piece they are. And of course, now with the data is telling that as more and more women are participating in decision making in sectors which have been traditionally male, and the reverse is also true, where I was very heartened the other day to look at a washing powder ad, and there was a dad instead of a mom. When the kid comes back from school with soiled clothes, I mean, for years we've always seen a mom waiting on the other side and coming up with this solution. And I made a note of it that day, that finally there is a dad who's standing in front of the washing machine and not a mom, because till few years back it was both, and now we are at a stage where we are representing. So I think representation at every level matters. From this example that I took to, say, even in alcohol, I spoke about the fact that if there are not going to be more women behind the bars, then how is it going to be a more wholesome interaction that you would have when you are discovering what is a new liquid that you want to try, or you want to have an experience or a celebration. And similarly in corporate boardrooms and meeting rooms, it's just boils down to representation, according to me. And then we will be ready, and we are ready in certain parts to go beyond just gender. Also socioeconomic representation. Many of us benefited from reverse shadowing, where we see that younger people who've not had too much conditioning, how can they help us to unlearn certain biases that we might have, and all of that. So I think there's a long way to go on inclusivity, but gender inclusivity is absolutely critical and must do, according to me.